Hello, we are Team ARtify, sponsored by T-Mobile. We aim to create an immersive pop-up museum that kind of brings galleries out of the building. Our team member includes me, Steve, Mickey, Minji, and Bill. To give you guys a little bit more context about our project, when we were first introduced to this project, T-Mobile basically gave us 3 requirements. The first one, and most importantly, is to utilize their 5G network. The second part is that we must use an AR/VR device that's not a mobile phone. And lastly, it should be a consumer-facing solution. And after doing extensive research and brainstorming, we found like the ideal space to tell our story, and that is the art space. At the start of the pandemic, lots of traditional industries were hit really hard, such as tourism, entertainment, restaurant, and also museum. This is because in traditional setting, museums require in-person visits, and that's kind of the only thing they offer. So at the beginning of the pandemic, that was kind of out of the table. So with that in mind, that kind of forces the art world to shift from traditional structure and kind of start embracing more digital contents. And with the kind of this art digitalization, it kind of allows new users to kind of like have access to artwork anywhere, anytime. And we're trying to like embrace this cultural shift and kind of create this solution, our concept that kind of addresses this. And Steve will basically talk more about what exactly we're creating.
All right. So here is our solution. We're building an AR pop-up museum that can exist anywhere with a 5G connection to bring art closer to people. By using AR headset, we're able to create an immersive and interactive experience for viewers. And thanks to T-Mobile's ultra capacity 5G connection, we're able to access our solution from anywhere with a cellular connectivity. And in order to build a proof of concept for this vision, in this project specifically, we're collaborating with local Seattle AR artists to build an outdoor AR art exhibition. And to specify our concept, we will provide viewers a well-curated guided tour along with a state overall theme and an information panel that you can access during any time of the experience. And as the viewers move forward with the guide, then the artwork will pop up, and they were able to manipulate this artwork with hand gestures like rotate, scale, and move. We also give viewers the option to leave reactions on each artwork, and they were able to take a screenshot or record the video they have inside the HoloLens and then share it in social media. So how we ended here? Here is our approach. We first studied from a very broad and ambiguous design challenge, echoes with what Tommy said, and then did a lot of second research on different fields. And once we got our eyes focused on our field, we then dived into 8 field studies and expert interviews to kind of gain a deeper understanding of the industry and kinds of existing solutions. And after we found the opportunity inside our direction, we then did our user research. We did interview with multiple stakeholders, and then a user survey to kind of understand viewers' expectations and needs. And for the last 3 months of our project, we kind of did 3 sprints of prototype, test, and refine. And basically under each sprint, we will build this prototype and then we bring it in front of the users. We get their feedback on different aspects, and then we refine our prototype. And now we're ready to launch our exhibition with real artworks and a well-curated storyline. And all of the anchors are right now deployed at JIX.
Let's dive into some design details and changes we made during this process. We conclude 3 main requirements from the viewers, and the first one is to understand our work. During the survey, we find 68% of viewers actually don't quite understand our work, and they would like to learn more information about it. The second is during the survey and the interview, we find that viewers want a fun and interactive museum experience. Thirdly, we want to provide to help them facilitate them share their feelings. In the interview, a lot of viewers said that I want to know what others think about the artwork, and a lot of people actually go to museum to hang out with their friends. So from these findings, we go to we use some testing to refine our findings and find our final version of prototype. The first one is to reduce visual burden. A lot of people actually get very confused when they wearing the HoloLens, when there's no clear visual clue. That's why we add a lot of components in prototype 2. But too many things moving at the same time actually make you more confused. That's why in testing 3, we reduce all the visual clues and only keep the marker of the next artwork. and we make the subtitles smaller, but with voiceover, and use physical lines to help them navigate. The second thing is about the communicate features. Initially, we want to have the comments to let the viewer give comments for each artworks and to let them collaborate to make a artwork together. But typing HoloLens is too difficult, and people and develops the multi-user feature is too difficult in our time limits. That's why we choose to have reaction feature, which let user give emoji for artworks and take screenshot and save and share later.
Regarding the hardware software architecture, we basically use HoloLens 2 as our hardware component. However, our device is flexible enough so that it's compatible to any other XR devices. And we used a UMT in combination with ARtify to develop our solution, MR solution. And then it uses the T-Mobile 5G connectivity to connect with the Azure services so that we can run our application. And for the Azure services, mainly two major components. The first one is the Azure Spatial Anchor, which enables us to kind of put the artwork anywhere we want. So basically, the artwork is fixated to that location as long as it's connected. The application is connected to the internet. And then we also have a server, backend server that kind of stores the metadata and also the artwork so you can reduce the data size on the hardware device. And then for the next step, we're actually thinking about implementing remote rendering, which is significantly reduced like the CPU capacity for HoloLens, which is not as ideal. So then we can make sure we can run these really high definition quality artworks without any lag.
Right, so let me walk through our ARtify experience. So the viewer will first enter the exhibition. We'll help them wear HoloLens 2, and we'll have a little introduction to help them give instruction on how to use HoloLens, and we'll give them option to choose either a guided or non-guided tour. For the guided tour, we'll have voiceover guide to help them lead to artwork markers, where as the viewer approaches the marker, it'll trigger and show the actual artwork, and they can use the hand menu to learn more about the artwork, leave reactions, or record photos and videos of the artwork. And they can also interact by scaling larger or smaller, rotating around, and they can also move the art piece. As they look at all the artworks, we'll help them finish the tour and lead them to return the device. Let's look into our prototype iterations. We first started with design prototypes. So first one is very low fidelity, where we just put our ideas down. We have creative ideations, and then we built product 2, where we really explored different ideas, as Maggie introduced. And we had user research and validation to prioritize for our prototype 3, and that's high fidelity design for our MVP. For development, we first started with start screen and just importing objects. And then we have made a big progress for prototype 2, where we actually implemented the interactions, the gesture interactions and hand menu and learn and react features. And now we have prototype 3, which we built the whole overall flow, which we'll show in the demo video. So first, we'll scan the environment. Kind of sound is here.
To click a button, you can use your index finger to reach and tap it.
That's our introduction, onboarding on how to use.
To move an artwork, you can use your thumb and index finger to grab and hold it, move it around in space, and release your fingers to place it.
So after the onboarding is done, we'll have a welcome screen that introduces what is ARtify. And we'll give them options to do guided or non-guided tour.
You can find the imprint of nature here in the Cascadia area. Waterfalls, mountain plants. The forces of nature transform and breed life for years and years. Have you seen the paper plane at the front? Let's go there and explore the force. Power exists everywhere. It floats around, converge. You could go inside it to feel the flow of the energy. You can go to the grassland and view the next artwork. The power comes and goes. Nature has its laws. The two parts in this artwork create a symmetrical sphere. You can scale up the artwork and go inside the Versailles Symmetry Forest. You could go to the lavender and view the following artwork. Nature has the most sophisticated structure. This is a scanned model of a real flower. You could rotate and scale to take a close look at the tiny detail of the flower.
And we have the hand menu demonstration that user can click on the learn button and they can see the description and who made it. So that's for our demo video. We have live demo upstairs, so you can try it later.
Okay, for business model organizations, we try to reduce the barriers for the users or for the audience to access the arts. Which means we try to reduce their travel spendings or the cost for the audience, cost for the artists, and cost for the creators. And with that, we want to bring a 5G, with a 5G, we want to bring the art anywhere in the world. For the legal considerations, we will cooperate with the artists and deploy their work in our software. But ahead of that, we will acquire their copyright to use and to deploy their work in our software. And also we use some instructional 3D models in our software, which has a commercial license, really kind of free to use right now. So as you can see, the market analysis, as the 2020 pandemic happens, the market has been dropped quite a bit. But after 2021, since there's a lot of digital artwork and media pop up by the museums, it's raising again. And also at the right side, you can see the AR technology industry has been increased year by year, which means there's a great opportunities to merge these two together. Okay, so our next step is we want to build a full functional HoloLens on the HoloLens 2. And also we want to implement all the remote rendering so that we can have anything to process on the cloud, not on the locally. Also, we want to launch the beta version to the artists and customers to test for any minimum bugs to see. Thanks T-Mobile and also thanks John and Linda for helping us to do this work.
All right, awesome. Thank you, ARtify team. Snazzy sweatshirts. Comments, questions, feedback? Questions?
I think back there, right there. This one, like that.
Thank you. Nice job. It's a really interesting idea. Do you imagine that this will be kind of like art installations in physical spaces, or that people can just do it anywhere, like in their house?
I think right now we're trying to start with like the installations to sound like, because one is be like it's kind of like a start with. So like with the museums, they already have some AR museums. But that's where we'll start. But I think that there's definitely a chance where it can be anywhere. So I think, but we always want to start with the niche market first, and then start slowly to extend. But I feel like our thing is now limited to just one space. But I feel like it's definitely transferable between different kind of utilities and applications.
I'm going to throw you over here. What was like a key challenge or pivot point for you guys for your project?
I think there's definitely lots of challenges during the meantime, because I think for us, the AR is definitely a really interesting technology, but it's also really new. And I think before we didn't have any too much background or understanding on this, how do we actually use this technology? So we kind of spent a lot of time trying to learn through the process, but I think in the end, with the help of T-Mobile, we were able to really take a deep dive and kind of make it happen. I think the major challenge was just to learn and see what the potential of this technology is.
I don't have a question, but I have something to share. So I think the biggest fear that when I'm using VR, I know where I am, I know where my cat is. So I oftentimes step on my cat, which is, that's a fear I always have.
Yes.
And so it's honestly so nice that I can actually see the real life, the world in real time. So I know where I am, and I can also interact with the art. So I think it's really good that you guys incorporate the two together.
Thank you. Does your cat run and hide when the headset comes out?
I think she knows I cannot see her, so she wants to come near me. I don't know why.
Excellent. Steve? Thank you for coming.
Hey, team. So one of my questions is a little bit like a question previously around if HoloLens is the device, then it is more of a narrow tunnel, right? And creates less accessibility. So what's your ideas around how creating such an accessible kind of experience with a less accessible entry point? How do you think you'll be navigating that as you move the project forward?
Yeah, so initially, I think we chose HoloLens 2 mainly because of its features. Just like right now it has a lot of features, and it's easier for us to test and access because since we're not like expert in the AR and MR world, right? But there's definitely like when we designed this, we made sure it's flexible so it can be compared to other glasses that's more lightweighted and more suitable for users. So I think for now we just made it so it's kind of proof of concept. But further on, definitely we'll see how we can deploy this into other more accessible AR glasses.
All right, thank you, ARtify team. Let's get our next